With us now is Jacob Bryant. Welcome to the show, Jacob.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I was just saying when we were like off screen before that you have such a voice, like your speaking voices. I mean, have you thought about actually like narrating books or anything with that voice?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I actually listen to Howard Stern all the time, and I think he has one of the best radio voices ever. And I've thought about doing some voiceover stuff and maybe narration or books on Word or whatever, audio books outside of music, because I kind of get just like anyone a little bored, and I consider myself a little bit of an entrepreneur at heart. So maybe one day, just got to find that right person that wants my voice on something, I guess.
Well, it sounds good because I was like, and you're listening to you, and then turn the page, beep. You know, it's like, but it's lovely. But we're here to talk about your music career, and if you don't mind, I'm just going to start with the obvious, and there's no need to explain the obvious. But you had a health challenge as a young person, and it changed your life.
Yeah. Unfortunately, at 19, I did suffer a heart attack due to my own actions. Young, dumb kid drinking too many energy drinks. So kids, stay away from Red Bull. But yeah, it wasn't Red Bull's fault. I drank too many energy drinks working a night shift job and pretty much almost went, what do they call that? Almost bought the farm.
Yes. Pushing up, you would have been pushing up daisies.
Yeah. Right? Luckily, the doctor told me there wasn't any long-term damage to my heart, and I haven't had caffeine since 2009 because of that. But yeah.
You're very lucky. No, you really are lucky. You know, and those types of things, everything in good moderation. But sometimes when you have a personality or a challenge, and a lot of our guests over the years have had some challenges, it's just, it comes to a point where you can't sometimes help yourself. So I'm happy for you and your health now. And how have you taken that pain and pushed it into positivity for yourself?
Man, I just grew up super, like I said, off screen, super humble, poor upbringings where everybody kind of took care of each other and hung out and played music on the weekends with my grandparents' band and stuff. And we were always, helping people in the community and whatnot. So that's just kind of my heart, and I don't know. I write about my struggles throughout life, and I try to be uber honest with my fans about, addiction issues and my mother's passing away and the heart attack and all that stuff that a lot of folks read in my bio and whatnot when they, I guess, dive into the world of me. But it's kind of a crazy journey, but I'm happy that I'm where I'm at, and God's been good to me.
God has been good to me too, and sometimes it's not that I don't forget to say thank you, but he's so good in so many ways that I'd just be spending 24/7. Thank you. That's how good it is, right? There are so many miracles that I'm present to. And I had lost my mom too, and I lost a spouse to colon cancer. And my spouse that died, there was a song called "Life Is Only What You Make of It" that he wrote. And so Live It Up. My show used to be called Live It Up. It's all because of that. It's about living every day, waking up, doing the next right thing. When you said that you were part of, like, you would listen to your grandparents playing music, that's fantastic. So they were both in a band together?
Yeah. It was called the Sleeping Lady Bluegrass Band. The mountains behind my childhood home, it looked like a lady asleep, the head and, the breast and throughout the legs and whatever. But it was a beautiful place to grow up down a little 3-mile dirt road in Jasper, Georgia. And they always just got together on the porch and played good old mountain bluegrass music. So it was always ingrained in my DNA from the time I was born, I guess. My grandmother played the old upright bass, and my grandpa played acoustic, which I kind of took to, and he was a huge influence as well. But yeah, music in the Bryant / Mullinax household.
And good food. The biscuits and gravy and fried chicken. And, I live up here in Long Island, and I grew up in St. Louis. So I kind of grew up with Eastern taste buds as well as Southern taste buds, but I can't help it. But like when I go down south, that's what I want. And I just want a plate of biscuits and gravy. I don't know why, but I crave the stuff. Grits, I'm not really a big fan of grits, but how about you? What are some of the Southern foods that you just, I don't know, just mean something to you?
Yeah, biscuits and gravy. Our thing is not for breakfast, but soup, beans, and cornbread. Soup, beans, and cornbread with a little bit of chili powder on there, and ready to roll.
I like that a lot. We used to say that too. We had the lady next door to my grandparents used to make us ham and cornbread, or
Yeah.
green beans. So
Mm.
like the green beans that have been simmering with the ham hock and I don't know. There's something
Yep.
about it that just it seems like home, and especially around the holidays. It's all about food and family and festivities and But sometimes the holidays aren't the greatest for so many of us. Like when you're missing a loved one a little too much and. I know that your music really does relate to people.
Yeah, I try to write, like I said before, I try to write super transparent. I lost my mom, and unfortunately on New Year's Day in 2010. So right around this time, around Christmas, whatever, of course, those feelings kind of come back and dealing with those memories and whatever. But I have two beautiful kids now that have her blood in them, and I try to look at them and see a little bit of her every day when I get to see their beautiful smiles and move forward in that aspect. She wouldn't want me to do what I
No,
did to my body for 12 years up until 30 days ago. I'm 30 days sober today, actually. So tomorrow will be 31 days, my first month. So
I am so happy to hear that. Good for you. And especially when you have children that need you and they don't want you
absolutely,
to go anywhere, right?
yeah,
And so
yeah,
when you have a reason to make that next day matter, that's the reason, right?
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'd wanted to get there. There was times where I released a song years ago called "This Side of Sober," and at that time I'd made the leap to try to get sober, and it only lasted about 3 weeks because, as you know, in our our business, it's around us 24/7, and I kind of fell back in it for a little while. But for the last 2 years since I had my first child, my daughter Naomi, I've kind of been like, yeah, I want to quit, but I don't know how, and whatever. And then about 30 days ago, I was out in Texas at Billy Bob's in Fort Worth, ready to accept an award for a song I'd written with my buddy Josh Phillips called "Sometimes I Pray" about my mother. And I was sitting in the shower and super hungover and just looking at, I'm about to accept an award for Christian Country Songwriter of the Year, and I'm sitting here shaking and needing another beer, and I just looked in the mirror and said, I'm done. I'm over it. Don't need any more of it, and laid it down.
And may it just stay laid down for you. And on a good note, well, that is a good note, but on another good note is that you have new things happening, performances and music and creativity and, something to look forward to. And I think
Absolutely.
that helps a lot of people too, when they've got something to look forward to.
Yes, absolutely. We got a brand new record coming out January the 14th. It's called Barstool Preacher, actually. And I didn't name that after I got sober. I actually named that when I was still drinking because in the Bible it says where two are gathered in his name, that is church and whatever. So like throughout the years, that song "Sometimes I Pray" I spoke of, I would always say, all right, y'all, let's go to church. And I'd sing that song and there'd be grown men squalling in the front row crying, and so that record is kind of just a little bit of, there's a little bit of God here, but there's a little bit of outlaw here and a little a little bit of the crazy crossroads all throughout that record, and I'm excited to get it out there. But yeah, January 14th is going to be a really big day for us.
Well, I celebrate that in you. And I really do. When I said earlier about, maybe it's children's books, maybe your voice also could lend, because I can just imagine when you're reading a book to your children, how that must sound in your home. That must be such a great sound.
I've never heard it from the other side, so I'm not sure, but I hope you're right. I would love to do something like that with somebody. So if you know anybody that needs some books read, just holler at me.
I think I might know a person or two. I always say my wealth is in the people that I know, Jacob. Sometimes I have money, sometimes I don't. It doesn't even matter anymore. It's all about the people that I know and connecting the dots and putting two people together and standing back and saying, wow, would you look at that, right? And
It's about
and for me,
yeah,
yeah, for me, that's what the show is about. The show is about celebrating you, your journey, because I know that there's somebody out there that just needed to hear what you had to say today. And I thank you for that. I really do. I thank you so much for sharing your journey and the essence of the truth of what you're dealing with, because you're not alone, right? And it's good. It's good to have you here today.
awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
And can you sing just like one or two bars of something that's like in your mind at the moment? Just a little something?
I guess, I mean, we were talking about mama, so I maybe do a little bit of that, but
I love that. Okay.
sometimes I pray, but not like I would if you were here. And sometimes I drank a little more than I should to drown out these tears. But when I'm holding on to my last breath and I'm drowning in that drop that's left, and he knows I don't know what to say, yeah, sometimes I pray.
Wow. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And here's to 31,000 days for you. One day at a time, but you're doing fine. Bless you. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you.
Take
I
care.
appreciate y'all.
Happy journeys. I appreciate you too. Be well. Bye-bye.
Yeah.